Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is a pencil skirt. It's a 3/4 skirt with a half lining. So if you've been looking for how to make a pencil skirt, how to cut it from the cotton to the finishing, I would advise you to stick around and watch this video from the beginning to the end, because I give a detailed way of how you can cut the style. Very easy to make. It's the easiest style you can make for a fact. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, give my video a thumbs up, turn on your post notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So stick around, let's get into the cotton proper. So hi guys, for this pencil skirt that I'm going to be making, I will be making use of this crepe. This black crepe will serve as my lining. And guys, go ahead to use your choice of lining. You can use a normal lining, it's totally up to you. This is the lace that I'm also going to be using to cut the skirt. And so for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching us two methods that we can use to cut out our pencil skirt. Very easy. Pencil skirt is one of the easiest style you can cut, believe me. So I'll fold my fabric into two because I want to use a pattern method first of all. So I'm going to be cutting on my lining before transferring it to the lace. So once my fabric is folded into two, I'll just pick the pattern paper that I had already drafted. Then I'll just lay it on my folded fabric. So I'll leave a link in the description if you're wondering how to cut a pattern for yourself. I'll leave the link, just check the description box and go watch the video yourself. So I'm going to be picking just from the waistline if I was going to use a pattern paper. Once my fabric is folded into two, I'll just indicate from the waistline. That is where I'm going to be marking the skirt from the waistline, and then I will trace all the way down if that's the length that I want. That's it. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching us how to draft and cut it on the fabric that we are going to be using. How to draft and cut your skirt on the fabric. Then I'll fold it again like this. Then after that, I'm going to be taking the zip allowance from this side. This is an indication that I'm cutting both the back and the front together. This is the center front. There's a side front and back together as well. So I'll just measure 1 inch on both sides. At the base of the lining, I'll measure 1 inch and 1 inch there. So this 1 inch will serve as the folding. I do not want my lining to start bringing out thread, so I'm just going to fold it. So you can go ahead to just weave it, just do whatever you want there, but to avoid bringing out thread, I'm just going to fold it out. So from that 1 inch, I'll go out by 23 inches. So the overall length I have right now is 24. So after folding one from underneath, after joining the waist, after adding a band to the waist, I'll be left with 22, which is my ideal length. So on the center front, I'm going to take my waist measurement. I'll come down by 4 inches. I'll take another, I'll mark it. Then I'll take the same waist measurement on the 4 inches. I also come down by 8 inches. This 8 inches is where my hip bone begins. So on that hip bone, I'm going to take my hip measurements on that mark there. So whatever I have as my hip measurement, I'm going to subtract 1 and measure it on this point. This point can also serve as my knee region, the knee. Once I'm done with that, I just went ahead and I added extra inch allowance, 1 inch allowance. I added to all of the sides. So I came down by half of an inch on the center front, then I link. You can decide to come down by 1, but for this one I chose to come down by half of an inch. So just watch what I'm cutting out. So I'll just go out by 1/2 inch, then I'll come down by 9 inches. The essence of this one I'm taking out is to make my zip sit well once I'm done fixing the zip to the skirt. So guys, try this and you would love your skirt. You would love the outcome of your skirt. You won't see that on my skirts. Usually I don't add that to my pencil skirt, and I always like the outcome. I was done cutting the lining, and then I went ahead and I folded my lace, and then I measured the desired length. I measured the length that I want. If you see clearly, you can see that this length is longer than the lining that we just finished cutting. So this is the longer length that I'm going to be attaching the shorter lining to. Just watch what I'm doing carefully. Then I'll place the lining that I just cut. I'm going to place both the back and the front lining on this folded lace. Just watch what I'm doing and see the part that I left underneath. That is the part that is going to be transparent. There's not going to be lining at that part. So lining stop at this point where the lining is placed. That is where it stops. So I'll just cut out the part that I don't need anymore like this. Then I will extend this line down. So guys, if you are making a longer skirt and you want a short lining, this is same approach you're going to use. After cutting your lining, you place on your desired length and then you just trace it down. From the lining, you make a straight mark, a straight cut. You just make a straight mark from that side and then you just cut it downwards like this. So the same approach can be used to cut a longer skirt as well. Just look at what I'm doing. This is the front, then over to the back. This is the back I'm trying to cut out. Once I'm done with the back, this is it. Then this is the front. So I'm about to lay the lining on the front lace. This way, turn it to the good side. Let the good side be the part that is on the floor. Then I'll just lay my lining on it like this. So you can see already that we have our half lining already. So on this line, I'm going to fold it this way. I'm going to fold the lining this way and sew independently. I'm not going to sew it down to the lace or down with the lace. I'm going to sew it just alone. Where I had pins stuck on them, I'm going to sew it down. I'm going to sew all the way down. That will be that for that. I'll sew on this point, sew on this other point, sew on here. That'll be all for the front. And then for the back, for the first piece of the back, you know, because of the zipper allowance, it made us separate the back. So I'm also going to fold on this edge like this, like we did for the front part, like this. So on this one and do for the second one as well, like this. So I'll open one part of the back, sorry. Then I'll lay one of the lining on it. Sew on this way, sew on this other side, then fold here and sew. I'll do the same for the second piece of the back. So I've gone ahead to sew on the lining together with the lace. So this is what it is. You can see the part that we cut out from the zip allowance. This is you can see the gap there. So I flipped it on good side to good side, and then I'm going to measure 10 inches, which is going to serve as my zip, the space for my zip. So on that 10 inches, I'm going to go out by 1.5. I'm going to sew on 1.5 up to the end of this lining this way. So I'll end my stitch at that lining where the lining ends. That's where I'm going to end my stitch this way. So once I'm done, I will flip it open like this to the good side, and then I will lay the front piece on it this way as well. I'm trying to take my waist measurement to know how much allowance I'm going to be sewing on. So at this point, just use your body measurements to close up all of the sides and knit closer. At this point, just use your measurement to close up the sides. So once I was done with it, this is what it looks like. I had joined it from the waist all the way down, and then you can see the opening for the zipper allowance that I left. So this place is for the zip, and then I'm using invisible zip. So the good side, I'm going to turn it up like to the other side. I'm going to sew the way this way and back. So I was done sewing on it. This is what it is. So see how neatly sewn this thing is. Then I went ahead to cut 1.5 between 1 yard and 1.5 yard of hem band. Then I'll sew the way round on the waist area. This is how I like to finish my skirt, no darts, and then just finish it up with a band. Try this method out, you're going to love it, I promise. Just follow carefully and do what I am doing. If you don't understand me, just look at me carefully. And then after that, after sewing on it the first time, I'm still going to sew and flip over like this and still finish my stitches around the waist. After that, I'll head over to the slit area. So for the slits, this is what it is. So I am going to fold it. This way. Do the same for the second side of the slit. So you also stitch all the way. After stitching, this is my result. This is the waist neatly covered. I'm so sorry that this became very dark at this point. I don't know what happened. This is the zip. This is the slits, giving me the triangular look. Oh my gosh, I love that. Neatly covered and sewn. This is the lining stopping. It stops halfway somewhere. So this part is going to be very, my legs are going to be visible at this point. This is where the lining stop. So guys, try this method out and let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.